Today's video will discuss Chapter 2.6, Graphing in 4 Quadrants. So let's start by discussing the quadrants. So you think of this as your 4 quadrants. Quadrant 1, which is this quadrant, is when x and y are both positive. So remember that x is going along this axis and y is going along this axis. Okay, and so as x is positive, and just remember x is the number line, so as x is positive and y is positive, points will end up in quadrant 1. Quadrant 2 is when x is negative, so to the left, but y is positive, so up. So left and up would be quadrant 2. That's negative x, positive y. Quadrant 3 is x to the left and y down, so this is negative x and negative y, so both values are negative. That will end up in quadrant 3. And quadrant 4 is to the right with x and down with y, so it's positive x and negative y, and this would be quadrant 4. It may be a good idea to write down this graphic in your notes. All right, so let's practice using this. Taking a look at this graph, there are 4 points on this graph, A, B, C, and D. And what we want to do is label the point, the coordinates of these points, and then the quadrant that they enter. So we'll start with A. And A is going, when you start at the origin, we're moving to the left. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Negative 5, and then we're going up 2. So this is going to be negative 5, comma, 2. X is negative 5, y is 2, and this is in quadrant 2. Remember, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, B is going to be negative 1, negative 2, negative 3 for x, and then negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4 for y. So this is negative 3, comma, negative 4. Remember, the x value always goes first. This is quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3. I'm going to skip C for just a moment. We're going to come back and get C. I'm going to do D now. D is going positive, 1, 2. So if you want, a lot of people, it's easier if they just write the x value first. So I went 1, 2, and then I'm going down 1, 2. So this is negative 2 for y. So it's positive 2, negative 2. And this is in quadrant 4. Now, point C. Remember, I go x first, and basically starting at the origin, I'm not going to have to move for x. So x is going to be 0. Then C is up, so I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is 0, comma 5. Now, this is where people get confused. Some people argue that point C is in quadrant 1. They argue that 0 is a positive number. So it would be positive, positive, which would mean that this would be quadrant 1. Some people argue that it's quadrant 2. Some people argue that it's both since it's right on the line. It actually happens that point C, or anything that is along either of any of the axes, either the x or the y, is in neither quadrant. So there are no quadrants. So this is quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. This point C, is not in any quadrant. All right, I'm going to have you practice for a moment. You're going to go the opposite way. I'm giving you this graph. You've got point A, point B, point C. I gave you the coordinates. I want you to graph them on this coordinate grid, and I want you to name the quadrant in which they lie. Please pause the video at this time to draw the coordinate grid and plot these points. All right, so this first point, point A, going x, y. So this is going to be 2, and then down, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm at 2, 4, which is here. This is point A. Negative 2, negative 4. Right, over 2 and down 4. And this is quadrant 3. All right, point B, 0. So I'm not going to move, and I'm going up 2, 1, 2. Point B should be right here. Keep in mind that this Sorry, it's a very large point I made there. That is not in any quadrant. And then point C is going positive 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then down 3, 1, 2, 3, which puts me here. And this is point C. And this is in 1, 2, 3, so this is quadrant 4. All right, thank you very much for watching the video. I'll see you in class.